Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here, doing another action figure review, and today we're having a quick look at the Star Wars Boba Fett Kenner inspired Boba Fett, basically. So, if you're not familiar with this figure, it is recently released as of 2023. This is a deco based on the original Kenner figure and how it was presented back in the day when I think it was he released as originally as part of Return of the Jedi, or was he released as part of Empire Strikes Back? I think he was originally released as Return of the Jedi. I don't think he got an Empire release. Then again, I could be wrong. He was a mail away, if I remember correctly, with the infamous red missile launcher that with the choking hazard, so they had to kind of go back to the drawing board and make it a locked in thing. So before we go on about the figure, we'll just have a quick look at the packaging he comes in. So you can see it's a very Kenner inspired packaging with an image of Boba from Return of the Jedi. You can tell that because he has the red arm gauntlets instead of the Empire ones, which were the green ones. And on the back of the box, there's no blurb or anything. It just showcases other figures that are available. So they do showcase this Boba Fett up here. Actually, if I move the box back a bit, you can see it. There's the Luke Skywalker Imperial Light Cruiser, which means it is the version of Luke from Mandalorian. There's Vel Sartha, which is from the Andor's TV series. There's Cassian Andor himself. There's a Klatooinian Raider, which is based on I believe it's based on the pilot for the ATST from Mandalorian. The Artillery Stormtrooper, which I think is from Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, because you have Cal Kestis. And then there's Darth Vader, The Dark Times, which is from the Obi-Wan TV series. So you have a couple of different characters from across the various iterations of Star Wars. It's not just all from one area. So it is quite nicely packaged. I did pick this up locally at an online e-tailer who sells within Ireland under Heroes and Villains. He does some good work, and he does sell internationally as well. So if I can, I will throw in a link to the description to his store. He does sell other stuff other than Star Wars. He does secondhand figures as well, which is quite nice. But this is the Boba Fett. So he comes with 2 accessories. Only one is separate in the packaging, which is his iconic blaster. His backpack is actually attached to him in the packaging, but it is removable. As with all Boba figures, I would stress just being careful with these wires. They might hinder the articulation, or they might overstretch via the articulation, so you just have to be wary of that when moving the right arm. He does have a ball jointed head. I'll just take his hand out of his thing. So this is basically a reuse of this figure, which is the actual Empire version of Boba Fett. Sorry, not Empire, the Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett that they released. I think it was released last year. So this was kind of the first time he got his proper Return of the Jedi deco. Usually what they used to do is they'd repaint the Empire version, where he had like the different belt, and they just painted the gauntlets red, whereas this is the closer, more movie accurate version. But it is reuse of this figure, which again is also another reuse. Got another reuse, which is this one, which is the droid's appearance version. So you can see he has very similar look. The only difference with the Kenner one is the Kenner one never had this I'm not sure what it is actually. I think it's just like a tabard kind of type thing with a bit of cloth that drapes over the shoulder. I think originally it was supposed to be like because he had Wookiee pelts on one side, and he had like trophies. I think this was supposed to be a trophy from one of his bounties, but I'm not too sure. You can see the Mythosaur logo on his shoulder pauldron or shoulder guard. So now this version didn't have any kind of iconography or anything like that on him, but he did have, like, on the original figure, this was all molded into his backpack, like on the retro version of Boba. But they all sport the same articulation. So you have arms can go up. This is a slightly more flexible piece, but it won't go 360, but you can bring the arm out that much. You got a good over 90-degree bend on the elbow. You got rotation on that elbow. You don't have anything in the gauntlet. You do have rotation in the hand, and the hand is hinged up and down. Same thing with the offhand, or the trigger finger hand. So he can hold his gun in two-handed poses. It is designed to hold it kind of across the chest, like he does in the film. You can even slightly angle, because the wrist is on a swivel, you can actually angle it down so he kind of has that pose that you see him in. He does have same articulation on the right hand. He does have a ab crunch, but it is quite tight on this one. It's more kind of a waist swivel, which not really ab, because that should be up there. It's more closer to the waist, so it's more of a waist swivel than ab. He does have those kind of weird hip joints with the, if I rotate the joint around, you have to kind of rotate the joint around, and the leg is on a swivel. I kind of wish they would have done the other way. If I would just bring in someone else. This is the Clone Wars Loyalist Mandalorian. On these guys, they don't have that weird hip thing. They have like kind of a T-bar. So it actually, the leg just swivels on that, as opposed to having to swivel the whole hip to get the articulation point to go the way you want. I kind of wish they would have done that on these guys, but I know what they were going for. He has a single jointed knee, which has just slightly over 90-degree bend. He has rocker ankles, so you have bend on that. Does have peg holes. He has rocker ankles, so his legs will, or his ankle and feet will move like this, which is quite nice. So you get some good range of movement. His, as I said before, backpack is removable, and the head is on a ball joint, so you get some good range of movement. It is kind of interesting. You can actually see like a head, the sculpting of a jawline underneath the helmet, but it's non-removable. It is possible that they were planning on doing a removable helmet version and then decided not to, because probably easier way of not losing accessories. But you can, if I just get it fitted into his hand, get his gun in his hand and just have him holding his gun two-handed, so you can get him looking down through the barrel that way. He does have some minor paint apps. I think the original figure didn't really have these painted on. These were painted on all right. His gauntlets were two different colors. Shoulder guards, you had that lighter, almost grass green color, jungle green color for his chest plate. And you had that red on the helmet. His backpack was that kind of all blue with that red missile. The missile on the actual figure was sort of a separate piece. As I said, there was an issue where it was intended to be spring-loaded. So I think in the end they just locked it into place. It was still a separate piece, but they glued it or made it so it wouldn't be removable. But we'll just bring in a few other versions. Now this is vintage collections scale, so these are all 3 3/4 inch, 4 inch scales. So we'll bring in a few other Mandalorian and Boba Fett style figures. But I'll just bring in the tape measure quickly. So you can see to the top of his helmet, she's around 4 inches, and then a little bit higher with the viewfinder. The viewfinders on these Bobas are all set in the up position. You can't rotate them down. We'll bring in another Boba Fett. In fact, they actually did the same thing on this version of Boba, where his hip is on that T-bar, so you don't actually have to rotate it. I kind of wish they had kind of stuck with that. This is the Book of Boba Fett version. So he does indeed have the removable helmet. Chuck him in there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have one of my Mando figures close by. So we'll just put in Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett, random Mandalorian from the Clone Wars. So he's just like a loyalist random trooper. And then the other kind of named character I have is Axe Wolves here, which is from the Mandalorian TV series. And if you watch the most recent TV series, you'll see him back for the season 3 stuff that just recently wrapped up. So you can see he scales pretty much close to all the kind of Star Wars Mandalorian figures. For something non-Mandalorian or non-Star Wars, I'm just going to move this guy back here. Bring in a Eagle Force Returns Sergeant Blackstone, which I reviewed. And we bring in the 3¼ inch older Dr. Ian Malcolm from the Jurassic World Dominion line. And then we'll bring in Movie Catwoman from the Spin Masters Batman line. So these are quite tall because they're done in 4 inches, whereas most of these are 3¼ inch. So there is a slight ½ inch or inch, what's a quarter or an inch difference. So there is a small bit of height difference between these. If I can just bring Penguin out because he's more chunky character, you can see he does stand a little bit taller than, just a smidge taller than Boba. So all in all, a really good figure. He is hitting shelves at the time of this recording. I do recommend picking him up if you can. He's actually quite a cool design figure. There was a 6-inch version of this, I think, but I think the 6-inch version deco was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so it's a lot more expensive than this 3¼ inch one. But I had to jump on the 3¼ inch one as soon as I saw it because of, well, not nostalgia, because I never had the original Boba Fett figure, but I remember playing with one as a kid. A friend of mine had one and it was a cool figure, so I kind of got that. And he looks pretty decent in the vintage, or the Hasbro Power of the Force 2, which was based on the vintage Kenner Slave 1 figure, or Slave 1 vehicle, or Boba Fett Starfighter as it's now been renamed. But all in all, really cool figure. I do recommend picking him up. If I'm not sure if he's exclusive in the States to like Target or something like that. I think he might be, but I managed to pick him up locally, so I will throw a link in the description if they have another one, and hopefully they will ship international. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review for this really cool Boba figure, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.